Welcome to Delco Nerd Network. We're going to hear for another hot take. Thank you all for joining. So today we're here discussing Altered Carbon, Netflix original. We've got co-host Chris Trio, and you've seen him. You already know who it is. Casey Wellman here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right.
Good to be here.
So as you all know, hot take is when we just gather in Gooch's basement, courtesy of Gooch behind us here. We're going to talk about a topic. And
certain movie.
So let's go for
TV show.
this. What was it? 10 episode or 13 episode
10,
series?
I think it was
Altered
10.
Carbon. Lots of good sci-fi here. So let's get started
Jump
talking
right
about the. Let's jump right in about like what
The
the
backstory,
main
maybe.
theme about Altered Carbon. What makes it unique in its own sci-fi world here.
Our spoilers, just like
So we'll
ahead.
try and not go. We'll say exactly when we're getting into spoilers,
Right.
but for the beginning part here, we'll try and keep it relatively spoiler-free.
okay.
So, just to give you a little background on the show, when is it set? How many years in the future? Do you guys remember? Like 500 or 200? I
I
can't
think it's
or is even like
500.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember a specific date. Like,
They do say it, but I can't remember.
I just-
Very, very far future. So
Yeah.
this is a future where humans basically are born with these things called stacks, which hold your consciousness in it. If that makes if that sounds correct.
it's a hard.
So
So your stack
Yeah.
is actually like inside your neck.
it's like this little disc thing.
Right, and it basically it's sort of like a save file for
Your
mind,
consciousness,
brain.
yeah.
Right.
Is it like one of your vertebrae or something?
Yeah, it's like in your
straight
spine, basically.
yeah.
And it's really cool. Everyone basically they call bodies sleeves now. So when you die, you don't usually, unless someone shoots you in the stack, you're alive.
Right.
Right.
And they explore a lot of really cool topics with this. I really like, there's some part that I wasn't a fan of, like the religious aspect with her family, that I actually began
Right,
to enjoy
yeah.
more as we went through the series. But there's a lot of cool questions it starts to ask. I really like the setting. But what did you guys just think overall of?
I mean, overall, I think for what it was, which was sort of catching with the sci-fi trend going on now, especially with what was it?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner and all
Very
the
Blade
other-
Runner-esque show, yeah.
Dystopian almost.
But it definitely had its own themes and premise, and it was that the very unique thing with the stacks and coming back to life, and how your body is really just this like vessel. for your
Exactly, and like
mind.
even the way they call it just a sleeve. Is
Yeah, yeah. It's like it can be thrown away. A lot of interesting, moral topics come up throughout the series that are, revolve around killing your body. And
Yeah, I mean,
how
life
you're
and what it
using
means to be alive. Yeah,
Right,
it's
Yeah,
It's
so
cool.
I think, overall, the set and I think we were speaking earlier, like the overall feel and visual appeal of it was just awesome.
Mhm.
It does take a little bit for you to kind of get into
going.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think it was awesome right from the start.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Casey.
I think you both more or less touched on like the idea of like all these cool themes they had, like immortality, religion, even like how that plays into it, like shifting moral perspectives, where it's
Totally.
kind of like it's weird the way they address death throughout the show, like
It's
RD
not even a big deal.
and stuff, like real death versus just like sleep death, and like it's kind of funny, like the idea of like even just like pain and punishment like kind of takes on a whole new perspective when it's like, oh, we can use up like X amount on somebody and then just put them in another sleeve, like,
And then just
it's not the
start-
end.
yeah.
I'm like, so it's crazy, like I'm trying to avoid getting too specific.
No, I
off
hear
of
you.
that, but
And
It is cool though how they call like actual death real death.
Yeah.
Right,
versus
yeah.
like, oh, you just killed
Sleep
my
death.
sleeve.
Yeah.
the distinction like needs to be made, so
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's pretty interesting in that way. And then just like it felt really new. Like I don't know, I feel like a lot of times I watch a show and I'm like, oh, that's a straight steal from XYZ,
Yeah.
whatever. But this one I was like, wow, this is like really unique, and just like the way they told the story, like and like it almost had the Walking Dead vibe where like they'll tell a story that has nothing to do with really what's going on, but it's like a blast the past kind of thing for one character. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And they would like do some episodes where it kind of they really dive into the past and they don't split it up, like they let you get that in one episode.
Yeah,
I thought
I
it was
hear you.
really cool how
Yeah.
they did it. Like they didn't just kind of like sprinkle it in like here and there. Like the whole one episode I think was totally in the past or something like
Yeah,
that.
no, that
With him
we'll,
like narrating over it.
We'll get into that. Was actually one of lower points for the show. I didn't hate it, but I do agree. Even I will say I don't know if like exactly the specifics of what they're touching on is totally original, but how they touch on it, I think is so new and
I'm sure like
fresh.
sci-fi has done this concept of coming back to life before, but definitely not in the same manner,
Yeah.
especially with all the cool things that happen in the movie. But
And I'm fairly sure this is based off a book, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it might be.
I think it is. I can't remember who wrote it. But
especially now the trend with Black Mirror, and even Amazon has their own series now. What is it called? What they're doing? Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. That's what it is. Yeah. So Philip K. Dick was a sci-fi author, and they're taking some of the ideas he wrote about and making them short episodes. Yeah.
Kind of like a Goosebumps.
Right.
Serial.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone-ish.
Sci-fi. Yeah. It's cool. I like the trend, and this is definitely it's got a lot of life left in it.
Totally.
So
And
I'm glad sci-fi's coming back. Big.
One thing I really liked about the show is that it really nailed it. It felt like we were watching a movie when it was a TV show. Like every setting felt real. It felt like they were actually there. It didn't feel like this was a bullshit made up place. I felt like they were usually doing something for a specific reason that made sense. It wasn't just like, oh, look at this cool technology I have. No, it was like it actually has something to do with the show.
Yeah.
And
that's true right from the beginning. So the series starts out, not going to spoil anything. We're just going to give you some context here. This guy, his name is Kovac, wakes up in a body that is not his.
Yeah, new sleeve.
Right.
Yeah.
So you quickly learn like a little bit about why this guy Kovac was brought back, and it turns out he was brought back to life by this like millionaire, rich, super guy.
I think like the richest guy in that city.
Yeah.
I think like
I don't know if you can put a number on his.
yeah, like literally.
So he, I guess, is what they consider like one of the immortals, right? So
basically,
he can't die.
He never dies. Yeah.
So he was brought back to help this rich dude solve the mystery of his own sleeve death.
Yeah.
So one of his sleeves was killed, and he believes someone did it and was messing with him.
And we should say the reason he doesn't remember this or the reason he's even still alive is if someone does kill your stack, you're done. But these rich people basically have cloud saves of their stacks.
Yeah.
It's
like
every
cloud backup storage.
literally every 30 minutes their mind backs up onto the cloud or whatever. And that really made me think about stuff. So I was like, wait, isn't that not really them then? Because if you're if it's just a copy of your consciousness and your thoughts, why does that make that you?
Yeah.
Like, because that person that you were still died. Like, there's a game I played, I was talking to you about it earlier, called Soma, which is one of my favorite games. It's a horror game, but it really brings into questions about, like, what makes a life and what makes consciousness real. And so in the game, you switch into a new body, but you think you're just switching your consciousness in when it really just copies your consciousness over to the other body, and you have to kill yourself.
Yep.
Or you just leave it there. And, like, I was just like, so these people really aren't even themselves, and I thought that was just a really cool thing to think about. Like, it's
very meta.
Yeah, exactly.
You're kind of sitting there, you're like, is this me?
Yeah,
it's
like, well, it is me, but it's not, because it's cool stuff, and I really like all those questions it brought into. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get too distracted.
No, that's good. I think
hot take.
Yeah,
it is a hot take. We're gonna do this nice and hot. So. I forget where I was gonna jump in.
He was asking Kovac to solve his own murder.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you were doing the overview. Yeah.
So like, you can see quickly a lot of the vibe of this is not just this sci-fi futuristic, crazy flashy visual, but it also because Kovac, when he's brought back to life, is like what 200 years after he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still got some like old-fashioned, style to him, right?
Exactly.
So he's in a very unfamiliar place. And the way he is carrying out his investigation and helping out this rich guy, Mycroft, right?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Bancroft.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Bancroft, because he's got
Bancroft. No, not like Croft, like Lara Croft.
Yeah, of course.
Tuned in an hour ago.
Yeah, right? He does it in a very, like, old-fashioned noir way. So, like, he dresses in, like, a trench coat, smokes cigarettes. He like, does old school classic investigation, and the way that the style is done, it feels really cool, and it's also I wouldn't say it's a juxtaposition, but it feels interesting with like that old style noir and
with
then
that
like
techie,
crazy tech.
like
I
Blade Runner-esque
really
future.
like that.
Yeah,
especially
I did
the
too.
scenes where he's trying to pin down the perpetrator, who killed Mycroft, and he basically has everybody in the room and he's assessing what happened, and then it turns out like he's dead wrong and like has to go back to the drawing board. But I loved those scenes.
I did too.
He's picking it apart and like putting all the pieces together. they did that so well with the show.
Yeah,
they make him like old school detective.
Totally.
Like Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes, like, and then you find
yeah, he's
got
going
that.
off a lot of hunches almost,
Yeah,
and like it is cool, and I think that's a testament to the guy Joel Kinnaman. I really like that actor. He's not like the best. There are some scenes where he kind of is like a little off, but for the most part, I think he's awesome in the action scenes. I think he usually delivers, at least when he's in his one-on-one scenes. But
his character and how he like conducts himself is perfect for that noir.
Totally.
I do think he was a little dry sometimes.
I agree.
Because the difference between Kovac as his like real body was and his real mind was a lot more like sarcastic, cynical, like jovial jokester kind of guy, and like he was just dead stone cold, like
No, I
There's
agree.
No bullshit
Yeah.
at all. Like, totally.
And it was tough to follow not tough at first. I got it after a while, but I was like, oh wait, that's actually him when they did the flashbacks, because obviously he's Chinese or Japanese.
Yeah, if you
Asian,
start off
he's-
like
he's
midway
foreign.
through,
Yeah, he's foreign.
Yeah, he's alien technically to us.
Oh yeah, no, it's true.
Another planet, like-
And so you're like, oh wait, that's him. Oh, I realize it. Okay, so
Yeah.
and there was one guy, the white supremacist dude or whatever, who was bald, who played like 3 different people.
Like
Yeah,
grandmother. and
He
like-
was amazing.
that was
really
really
good.
good. How he did the Spanish accents and
Yeah.
stuff. That was
It
so
was
good.
like I was like, this is a fucking grandma on this body right now. He really killed it. And then he played another dude, and then he played the Russian dude. So I was like, this guy's fucking killing
he
it.
went
Like
all over the spectrum with.
I wonder how you even cast that.
you gotta be like, all right, you're gonna play
now
3
give me your
different
best
people.
grandma Spanish accent.
Yeah,
like
and it sounds like this just sweet old lady grand. It was really funny. It really was, and that was one of the super cool things it explored. And there was one scene I thought was very interesting when they're coming out of the hospital. It's the beginning. Kovac is there, and they're walking out, and this woman walks out and goes, "Mommy," to like a woman. And then she goes, and then she hugs him, and the dad goes, "What the hell? My daughter was 12 or something." And she's like, "That's all we got in stock. You got to deal with it."
Yeah.
Because
So what
apparently,
happened was like a child lost her sleeve, her body.
Yeah.
And she was given like the body of an old
like a
woman.
45-year-old,
Yeah.
basically like a 45-year-old woman.
It's like older than that, like 70s,
Yeah, she was,
80s,
like,
like
parents,
very
older than
like
her
pretty
parents.
old.
Yeah, and like
And,
apparently everyone gets one sleeve, like when they do die if they want it, but like you don't get a choice. Obviously,
Right.
you just get what they have in stock, which is like they keep bodies in stock. Like it's so weird to fucking think.
Yeah, just bodies are like a
It's
little
hard to
commodity.
farm
They're
them
like
or
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they obviously mastered cloning and stuff. So I'm curious if like I guess they grow them without a stack, and then they're just kind of consciencelessness.
Right.
Well,
And
it
they just
might,
fit
like it might be like an empty stack.
That's what I
and
think.
they-
Yeah, exactly.
So they have a stack, but it's not.
Yeah, it's there's
Populated
nothing, and
with
then they just
anything.
yeah. Okay.
I wonder, do they?
But I
I
don't
don't think
know.
they ever touch on like what exactly the stack is and how it came to be part of the body.
They did say it's
Right.
alien technology.
Okay.
The grandma like is when she's talking to what's her name the cop.
Yeah.
She goes, it's not natural. We take something from aliens
We're
and put it in ourselves, and now we're living forever. So it's kind of a throwaway line. I wish they did
Right.
spend a little bit more time on it.
Yeah, I wanted like there's this tree that they bring up early in the show. Yeah, the song spire that has something to do with the stacks and like how they came to be, but they never actually touch on
Right.
that.
Yeah, no,
So,
I would have liked to
Blue
see
It is a
little
big
more.
mystery.
Blue ball you real hard.
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
but-
And I guess their intent is to get you more focused on the actual minutia of the story rather than the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't make it so complicated to the point of where, like, I hate, all you need to do for a movie is just, I don't need a crazy jump. Just give me something sort of
Right.
logical to get there. Like, I was trying to think of an example, but, like, as long as it makes somewhat sense and I'm not jumping over 3 fences to get to, oh, that works,
Right.
Yeah.
then it's fine.
I'd rather have a solid connection than like blow it off and.
Exactly. And it doesn't even need to be super solid. It just needs to be something tangential
I
to
think
make sense.
my favorite character in the whole show was the AI Poe.
He was
This
great.
Dude, I
AI
loved him.
basically AIs in the game are like this sentient
In the show.
like in the game. Sorry,
No, it's fine.
AIs in the show are like this outdated sentient like consciousness, right? So
Yeah.
they are like they're considered not useful anymore.
Yeah.
So there's some
Which is
sentient
interesting.
AIs
Yeah.
that
Crazy.
they're still around. And
They
still
run their
do
own
stuff.
businesses and
Right,
stuff
they
like
run
that, yeah.
Businesses, they manage things, but they're not like considered useful. I guess they just use normal human consciousness for that stuff.
Yeah, because
now.
They're a
you could
walk-
literally
yeah,
just
like,
put that
yeah.
on a
They're
So
they're a
there's
Walkman
this-
or a cassette player. Or something.
Yeah, literally.
It's like, they're great, but they're a thing of the past.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
one thing that they
My bad. I totally cut you off.
no Sorry.
Oh
Did you have anything
yeah.
to say?
So like the Poe is basically this AI that runs this hotel called like the Raven, based on Edgar Allan Poe, obviously.
I felt so stupid that it took me forever to connect.
I
that
know,
he
I
looked
didn't
like Edgar
yeah,
Allan Poe.
like it took me a minute too.
like 3 episodes in, I was like, oh, he looks like. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just stupid.
I was shocked when I picked up on that. I was like, wow, cool.
But it was just done really well.
No, it was.
The actor and
Very
the whole
charismatic.
set.
Yeah,
it
and-
was really good. I like that whole thing, and then they tie in all the different parts to that character as well. He becomes like part of the plot. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
And one thing that they explore a lot in the show, which I thought was interesting, was virtual reality.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I thought was super. So, Gooch, we might start touching on some stuff. I just don't want to. I don't want to spoil you on anything.
Gooch is stepping out.
He's stepping out for the moment.
I was curious how we were gonna do that with.
Yeah.
No, he-
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
asked. Like,
Just a warning to the viewers here. I'm gonna get into some spoilers. If you like what it sounds, just stop this. Go.
Yeah,
go check
seriously,
it
go.
out.
It's worth the
awesome.
watch.
we're going deep.
Yeah, we are. We're
So-
going to start going deep now. So, VR is a big thing in this future, which I thought made a lot of sense. Basically, you can plug a stack into VR, and that person's consciousness won't exist in VR forever if you wanted it to. And one thing that they explore, there's a lot of, like, hard scenes to watch. Or just
yeah,
hard cut.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so they basically torture people within VR now. Or in this universe. So you can
Over
die.
and over
Yeah,
and
you
over
can
and
die,
over
and then they
again.
just reboot you, and then they just keep going, and they can make you forget what they even did. Like the part where he's making Rayanne or whatever, like experience her parent or like her whole family's death,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
over
That
and
was
over again.
bad, but
What's her first
even
name?
earlier with the one where they were torturing Kovac.
That's terrible.
And
Yeah.
they thought he was still Reichard or whoever the other
Yeah.
guy was.
Reichard,
They
yeah.
thought he was still that guy.
Yeah, that part
That-
totally
that-
went over my head with
Yeah,
him and the
it-
Riker thing.
if you don't like, just throw
I didn't
this
piece it
out.
together
If you don't
at first.
start
Yeah.
this show from like the very beginning, you're gonna be
Yeah.
as lost as you possibly can.
It's
be.
true. It's, yeah.
Because there's guys that like exist in other people's bodies, and the bodies have their own stories that
Yeah.
haunt them.
Yeah.
So the main character, is dead.
Spoiler
but,
alert.
Like the
Come
guy,
on.
is living through his sleeve and
Yeah.
has this whole past that is like haunting him. And
So
and-
like people know, the body, which is
Right.
Riker. So like they see Riker, they think it's Riker, but obviously it's Kovac's consciousness
Yeah.
in it. Yeah, that part totally flew over my head. My buddy Super had to mention to me. She's like, "Well, yeah, that was her boyfriend or whatever, like
Yeah.
that sleeve." I'm like, "Well, wait, wasn't he like grown or something? Because he was in that bag or it just kind of that was the
Yes.
one part that like." But it wasn't even that important.
It was
I
a
felt
cool
like
It
for the most
wasn't,
part.
it wasn't that important. It
Yeah.
got a little more important toward the end because
Yeah.
you find out the involvement of Riker to the overall plot.
Yeah.
And then it's insane how every single character in this movie is tied into the end plot.
Mhm.
Like they are
Yeah.
involved.
There's
somehow.
no extra characters.
Yeah, it's really really cool what they do with how they tie everything together.
It's funny because some of the characters are the same characters. They're just
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
consciousness in that. But
Yeah.
it is weird, man, and I love it. I really do.
It was so well done, man.
It really was.
But yeah, the torture scene with Kovac where like he's getting like lit on fire, burned alive
Like, burn-
over and over,
Like his nails cut.
Oh, it was really really tough.
It
But
was.
Then that scene after he comes out of that torture and he just like lights up that place.
Dude,
he does like what is it? Social engineering. He
Yeah.
like gets the two scientists to free him and
Oh, no,
that was like one of my favorite scenes. Is that
Yeah, some of the stuff that was just sort of boring to me was what was he in? What was the name of his group? Before
Envoys.
Envoy.
The Envoys, yeah.
So like I was kind of so apparently throughout the series through the flashbacks you realize the Envoy that he was a part of was originally trying to get rid of Stax, right?
Yep.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were trying to they were trying to destroy that tree or whatever it was, right? Or they were trying
No,
to
they
destroy
were
the
protecting
central.
The tree
tree.
was just part of their home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that was theirs. It was like special to them. For
Yeah.
whatever the song's fire.
Mhm.
But yeah, they reveal eventually that the goal is to stop the technology, the stack technology.
Yeah, it's because the leader of the Envoy is like, we're not meant to live forever. This is ridiculous. And I do like the idea that they explore like Bancroft's like almost a god.
Yeah,
Like in
it's
this,
just,
he's literally like a deity. Like in the way if he can't die, he can't. And even the one dude goes like, we've never seen gods, but they're fucking existing with us on Earth right now. Like that
Yeah.
crazy, the
um,
ghost dude that could never be seen on
yeah,
on the cameras.
Oh yeah.
the Asian
What the
dude.
heck is his name?
I can't remember
Wang-
either.
Wang?
Yeah, but he was just so crazy. He's like, they are God. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
almost this cultish
Oh, yeah.
aspect
He's
to
like
him.
you are in the presence of a god or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Oh, he was a dude like he would ask like, "Are you a believer?"
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Before he
Yeah.
brutally murders them. Like,
Where he rips their
yeah.
stack out with the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like a really interesting take on like the playing God question.
Exactly.
Like, what would you do if you could live forever with any amount of money and like basically had no rules because you have all that power?
We see Bancroft controls basically everything.
Right.
He controls the police. He controls like.
Yeah, and not only does he control the police, but he controlled some of the laws, which are actually it touches on him a little bit in the very beginning, but that's it. So you really have to pay attention to this. But the reason that Mycroft got away with it to begin with, the crime that he committed at the end. Bancroft, sorry.
No,
I'm saying
you're
Mycroft
fine.
it's from Sherlock.
I know,
Mycroft
yeah,
is Sherlock.
yeah.
But was because there's this law that if you have religious code in your stack cannot be brought back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And the law right now, they won't. So they can't basically, if you like rape or murder someone, the cops could bring your stack back to life and get a confession and basically prove that
you did it, or
identify with, or as a,
or even the death of the person. Like they could bring them back to identify that the murder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this new law said that if you have religious code, that you can't do that. You can't bring them back for whatever reason. You have to respect the religious choice.
Yeah.
And Bancroft got that religious code inserted into that girl that toward the end. That's like why he. So not only is he able to live forever, but he's in control of like a lot of these crazy laws that
Wasn't it actually? What the heck's her name? Ray. What's the sister's name? Ray.
Whose sister?
Raylene.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ray, is it Ray? Is that what he calls her?
Ray,
R-E-I, Ray, or something like that. Basically, yeah. I think she is the one who engineered the code that was able to fake the religious change, but it was to the benefit of their agreement. They had
Right.
So yeah. And
so he was I guess an accomplice to it, but I think she actually ultimately they were talking. Kovac and Ray were talking, and he was like, "Oh, so he basically was like, you did it, you did the code or whatever that faked that." But I thought that was interesting, how we keep talking about everyone comes it all just
it all
ties
weaves
together,
in, really
what
well.
the hell, the whole time you're like I got this, I know what's
and then it's left turn.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Let me start my formulating.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to restart your entire thought process. That's not gonna work.
I'm wrong. Yeah,
what else? So, also, we find out Kovacs has a sister who we think is dead.
Yeah.
Ray. And
I'm going to call her Ray. I think that's
I think that is it, but yeah. And she ends up coming back, and you think, oh, she's just come back to save him, blah, blah, blah. But then you realize that she is basically the mastermind behind all the shit.
Right.
And then she starts taking this really weird turn of I think she loves him more than a brother. I think she wants to fuck him, and it's really weird.
It's definitely a weird,
very
infatuation.
Almost Oedipal or whatever.
Yeah, Oedipus, an Oedipus. And
it was really weird.
And I mean, I guess you kind of get it because the idea is they had an abusive father when they were younger, and Kovacs was the one to stand up to her finally, and then he got away. But then getting away, he joined the Envoy, and then she was just put into foster care.
CETAS or
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
What are they called? Predators?
Yeah, those designs were fucking cool, by the way.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, you'll see quick from the very first episode, some of the
soldier designs,
costume design in this show is really badass.
No, really, just overall set and just production design in this show
not
really
over the top either.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
It looks practically futuristic, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
it was cool.
It's not shit for the sake of there being shit.
It's I said earlier, look at this thing here, and then that's cool. That's the only reason. But she comes back. She ends up being the bad guy, and she has that whole Oedipus complex. We assume we don't really obviously get an answer to that. But the thing that kind of confused me was I guess she was just so in her own thought process that he couldn't get through to her
this poor kid,
in any way. Because she was so just no, we're the gods. We're better than everyone. Blah 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 blah. We just need to kill everyone. We own this. It's because we're the best or blah. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what has this chick been fucking doing these past 200 years? And then he does make the good point of well, why didn't you wake me up if you knew I was there for 200 years?
Right.
Yeah, that was all part of her plot to involve Bancroft in this and wake up Kovac's mind to get her brother back. Mm-hmm. So in her mind, she was doing all of this
for him,
evil to get her brother back and to bring her only family back. But in the end, she just got insane. And,
what happens to the mind after 250
exactly.
plus years of existing? For better or worse, how crazy do you get? How much do you learn? while you're, she obviously has a lot of money too. Like towards the end of her 250 plus
No,
years.
she's like one of the other godlike.
What do they call them?
I can't. She calls
It's like
like
an M or
the
something?
upper echelon of people because I remember the one
He's
black
like,
chick's trying to be like, well,
yeah.
I just want to get in with them.
I'll
Like,
make
this
a,
is my.
He's like, I'll make a blank out of you, whatever the word is.
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember,
Bancroft
but it's
says
like
that to him.
yeah.
it's their class of people,
It might start
basically
with
the
an
people
M,
that live
I don't
forever.
know.
It's like meths or meths.
Meth, yeah,
Something like that.
I don't know why they call it that, but yeah, meth I think is like the term he uses. But yeah, she's like obviously one of them at this point. You know, she's been alive for say almost 300 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happens to your psyche?
Yeah, like,
you know,
it-
forget a
Look at,
brain,
what
like that's in your
Bancroft,
body. But
Like the reason he got in so much trouble is just because he, I guess, would live so long that he got bored of like
What he was doing, and he
normal
yeah,
sex.
no, exactly.
I guess.
No, well, and she gives him that. Doesn't she give him like some crazy drug too that makes him go even more insane? I'm pretty sure she like dopes him up on something, so he goes even further
it's
than
like
he.
animal or something. What do
I
they
can't
call it?
remember, but she like gives him a drug, and that's
Oh,
why he
wow.
goes so insane. And
That's like the kiss that Miriam.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like on her or something. I
Oh,
guess.
that was a wacky scene.
yeah. Oh yeah, there was another. Did Bancroft have a daughter, or no?
He had,
yeah.
he had like
Ex-
20 kids or something. Like
Oh,
that.
because I was so
They only
confused.
talk about the two. Though.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They only talk about a couple, but one of them was using her mom's sleeve.
See, that
That
confused me
was
because I was
weird.
like, wait, I feel like we've never seen a daughter. Was it the dude in the sleeve? That's why
Yeah,
I thought it was the son.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
Like,
I think it was a daughter.
Yeah, that's. I just didn't. I was like, because I was like, super. Did we see a daughter in this at all? And he was like, yeah. No,
the
I don't.
son is
I
the
don't
only
think
one
we
that-
did. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember his name.
But it is
was a
crazy.
punk
Like they just have a bunch of sleeves lying around. Like you go into this room and there's fucking clones everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
The-
That was
Oh,
a
it
cool
is cool.
style. That
Yeah,
kid.
it really
how,
was.
Bancroft keeps sleeves of himself in like other countries. So instead of traveling,
he just beams to that.
transports his mind to the
yeah.
other body and
Crazy.
wakes up in like Tokyo. I think that was like a really cool idea.
Right. It's-
Yeah.
The-
Just,
oh,
like he keeps bodies laying around.
like just there's
Yeah.
there's my muscular body, there's my
Yeah.
slim body, there's my the one scene I really liked. Garcia was her name. What was her name?
Ortega.
Ortega.
Yeah, Ortega.
The scene with her in Ray's place where she's. No,
Just like another
Yeah.
generic.
Stereotype.
Like,
Yeah. That was great.
Rodriguez.
Anyways. All right, guys.
Ortega,
Jeez.
Ortega, yeah.
Anyways, I feel like Ortega's not that far off. Anyways,
No.
when she's fighting Ray's like clones, like that scene where all her clones
Yeah,
are
yeah.
coming out and she
That
has
was
to like
crazy.
guess which one. I thought that was really
Yeah, like,
cool.
she's just, like,
she's
waiting.
transferring into each one of them as she kills them. Yeah. It was very interesting.
Right.
Like just scene. Like I wouldn't think about that one, which is weird because it does make total
Just
sense.
like it's like zombies, just
Exactly.
wave after wave of Ray coming to attack you, and she's like
Yeah.
a freak with like
Yep.
her abilities. But
And then like toward like the last the climax of the show, the main character Kovac does something which like I guess I don't know if it's like banned or forbidden.
I think
or
it's
whatever.
illegal. It's supposed to be illegal. Yeah.
So he makes a copy of his consciousness and puts it in another sleeve.
double,
no, no.
double
Yeah,
sleeving,
double sleeving, yeah.
So he duplicates himself.
Basically, yeah, because he wants to get Ray off his trail, so it looks like he's going on this trip.
with Miriam.
Yeah, and
to
but
sex
obviously he's there.
island.
Yeah.
That's,
I thought that was
that's
really-
like your point about like it being not really you. But
Exactly,
a copy. Like,
yeah.
there are two separate Takeshi or whatever,
Yeah.
Kovac.
Yep.
Like,
And obviously
living.
they have all the same memories. They have all the same
yeah, it's just from like the point they split on. It's like they're different people.
they're different
Like,
people. Yeah, and
That's crazy.
It's funny. It's when he meets himself for the first time, they do rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
And it's
And
the
the
exact
scene-
same.
every-
It's like-
yeah. I really like
Yeah.
those scenes with him talking to himself.
Yeah,
I actually
that was
think that's
cool.
where he kind of shined the most, which I was surprised because like that's
Right.
a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Like play, and obviously I assume that they shot one of his sides first
Right.
and then the other side, but that was
I
cool.
just really liked the writing and the dialogue in the show was just really good.
It was.
him.
Right.
He was so like cynical and like
Yeah.
cool about everything.
No, he really
It
was.
very interesting to like watch
And,
and be
yeah.
a part of. Yeah.
like I said before. I do think that's a testament to Kinnaman. I do wish he was in more stuff. I like him. I loved him in RoboCop. That's like my guilty
Yeah.
pleasure movie.
Yeah, that is. a
I
good
really,
point.
I don't know why I like
Yeah.
that movie so much, but he anchors the series really well, and I'm glad they did make a good choice there. All the casting was very good.
Yep.
I think.
Completely agree.
hmm
Really
thought-
liked Ortega. What was
Yeah,
she
she
in
was
anything
awesome.
else?
She was. I don't know. She was awesome though. She was really
Yeah.
good. I liked
Like,
her
a lot of nude scenes that she's in.
A lot.
Did she
Yeah.
only have one?
I think she had definitely more than one.
I thought it was only the one where it's like Ray in her body. She's like, I see why you like this sleeve, and then she
Yeah.
like gets out of that.
There might be like 2 or 3 like once when they're banging. Spoiler alert.
God, how the fuck did I miss that?
Yeah,
Spoiler alert. They
you
fuck.
gotta go back and
I guess I gotta go do my research.
Yeah.
Damn it.
yeah, she was she was good.
No, she was awesome.
Actress, yeah.
And like I said, I didn't really give a crap at first about her whole family part, but then they made me care. Like
Right,
she made me.
right.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I actually.
Yeah, like Casey was saying, there are no like useless characters.
Right.
in
No,
this
yeah.
movie, yeah.
And they do a really good job, like to drive home that like religious point of like there are people out there that think this is just ridiculous and like we shouldn't live forever. And it's funny to even think that like if there's aliens, then that like obviously there were aliens, so then religion has survived through that.
Right.
Which
yeah.
you would think is the kind of the bullet hole in
Right.
religion if that happens. Isn't that supposed to be like, well, that doesn't make any sense? But it was cool. Yeah, I definitely like the way they explored all that. I'm trying to think what else. The end. Oh, there is one thing. The like sex place or whatever they have is so fucked up.
Oh yeah.
with
it
all
is,
the
yeah.
like
what was it called? Heaven in
the
the
heaven,
Sky,
yeah,
something?
heaven in the clouds or whatever, or
Yeah.
something like that. And basically, Ray runs it.
Head in the Clouds.
Yeah,
that's
heads,
what it is,
heads in the, yeah, and
Yeah.
basically you can go there, like you can go there and
It's
rape
twisted.
someone. You can kill them,
Yeah.
and if you want, like it's basically
There's a plot twist.
it is a plot twist, and
yeah.
it's
To what
Very,
happens.
it's
on that,
tough to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah,
It is. It really is. And even like the beginning scene when he walks in and she's like, "Do whatever you want." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like rough,
Yeah.
It
man."
was really rough.
Yeah.
And I think like that's part of like what's really really good about when you combine sci-fi, you combine like the limitless possibilities with like some of that
Like
moral
real world
philosophy.
situation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it gets like really crazy,
Really dark and
yeah.
really and
Yeah.
it's not afraid to tread those lines.
Yeah, yeah. It just makes you think like a lot about like, is it okay?
Like,
'Cause
would
they
this
don't,
hap-
they don't technically die. It's like technically not even their body, right?
But so, and then they were saying
Yeah.
some of them actually do kill their
Oh,
stacks because they were like they want to feel like they're actually killing it, which is like so.
well, that's what
and that just shows you the
that's what
psychological-
Bancroft did.
Yeah,
It's like why,
exactly.
Yeah.
He crushed her neck. Oh man,
Yeah.
It's
that
like the
even was
catalyst that sets everything in motion.
Yeah.
yeah. So should we go into the actual reason of why he died? I think. I mean, we're in spoilers anyways right now. Or should we leave it for
I
everyone?
think you should go find out. I think you're gonna really enjoy the roller coaster of getting to the end of the mystery.
I think so too. I mean, if you're here with
Yeah.
us still, thanks for watching. I feel bad that we kind of talked
Yeah,
about
if you
some
made it
stuff.
this far, like,
But
stop now.
yeah, stop now and go watch the show. Seriously, it's a good thing. It's a good time.
It was great.
Yeah.
Not even. I wouldn't even
glad
know if
watched
it's
it.
good time is the right way to. It's just an interesting time.
Yeah,
it really
was
is.
awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy with these Netflix originals, man. I think they're
No,
doing a
I am
great
too.
job, Yeah.
I think like obviously not every bullet's gonna hit the target, but
Right.
most of them do. And this one was definitely one where I want to see second season. I
Yeah,
want to see.
I wanna
too.
season
And
two.
I like
honestly,
they set it up, I think.
yeah, and if they didn't even follow Kovacs again, and they did like a totally separate story, I'd kind of be fine with that
yeah,
too.
I think
Do
a
I
fresh take
think
would
it would
be
be a
great.
bad thing to follow Kovacs still?
No, yeah.
Not at all. I think that they have a bunch of different ways that they can go with this,
Yeah,
and I'm
I agree.
excited. And I mean, Netflix never reveals their numbers, so we don't know how well
Right,
it did.
that's
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that isn't. I didn't even realize
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
they
I
never
guess
reveal-
It's not a typical box office type
Right.
thing.
No, yeah, they never
Yeah.
about any of their shows. They never release any viewership things. I mean, usually if it gets a second season, it probably did well.
One thing I keep thinking about is, like, literally from the beginning when you were talking about the overall theme, and you were talking about, like, Trio mentioned the thing about, like, you know, if you're putting in a body, it's a copy. It's not really you. But then, like, the thing about Riker's body, like, you know, whatever, like, big nicotine addict, or tobacco,
Yeah.
like, whatever, nicotine. And it's just funny that, like, Kovacs doesn't smoke, but he's, like, hooked on
Yeah,
these.
Because his
yeah.
body,
Yeah.
So it's like, you think, you know, it's just asleep, but, like, that's kind of like you can't
That's
rule
true,
out
yeah.
biology, you know what I
No,
mean?
it's
Like,
true.
like, that dude is dependent on nicotine, and like just being his mind put in the body. He's like, oh, you put me in the body of a nicotine addict, and I was like, damn, that is so weird.
No,
'Cause,
it's
like,
just that, and even there
the
was
whole
one.
show's about the mind, and then all of a sudden, like this like simple thing is like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
that's
all,
just
and
really-
that's your
so it's
body's
also
hook.
back to your
Yeah.
body.
yeah, like it's really interesting how that like I feel like they try to like throw that in just for anybody who might like
To
catch
think about it,
like,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it was good brain food. I was
Yeah,
like,
there
wow,
was,
that is so cool.
Yeah,
Like,
because that is part of Riker.
No,
Like, his
yeah.
addiction
Yeah.
is still
It's-
part of
yeah,
his
yeah.
body.
Yeah.
It's not part of his mind.
The
yeah.
part
so
with the,
I was fascinated by that.
Yeah.
The one white dude who played all the different people. He gets
the biker.
the
Like,
biker,
you gotta
and then
find
he
out
was
who
put,
that is.
he
Yeah.
he. There's one part he gets. He's like, "Oh, you put me in a fucking body with a hangover. What the hell?" It was after the guy.
Yeah.
It was after the mom was in it. Like it is really like I didn't
That's
even
what I
catch that.
mean.
Now
It's
that you
those
mentioned, it, I was
little
like, "Oh
things.
fuck yeah, he did say." It is like there's just a lot of cool nuggets in this show. There really are that you can
Right.
kind of go off of.
And it's
Well,
just,
yeah.
like they talk about sleeves being upgraded with like combat experience and stuff like that. Like what
Yeah,
happens
combat
if, like,
reflexes and
yeah,
stuff.
like what happens if they put Kovacs in like a elderly woman's body like with no combat experience. Like, is he?
He probably still has
limited. He has the knowledge,
physically, I'd say.
I wonder if that's like
limited,
muscle memory, the combat experience.
Well, that's what they say. They say it's muscle, like it's installed with muscle memory, like reflexes or something. But like even so, Ortega. Yeah, it is Ortega. I thought I just said
Rodriguez.
Ortega gets her arm taken off. That's Gooch. I'm sorry, there's one more.
Context for what you're talking about.
Anyways,
that was really cool, by the way. Yeah. Or like that whole come up there, that was really cool.
She gets
really like my new
a robot arm, and I'm like, why isn't everyone doing this? Fuck a sleeve.
Yeah,
it was the payment, right?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, give me fucking robot arms and robot legs. If I'm rich enough, fuck yeah. And like, there was some parts, I guess she just didn't know how to use it right away. But where I was like, use that fucking arm. What are you doing?
Yeah, like I know one easy way out of this.
Yeah, punch him in the face.
Yeah, like it would have been real simple, but that was crazy. The one part where like, sorry, Gooch, Ray when she like hits her like right in the sternum or whatever,
you could see
it in
the imprint. Really cool. Dude,
that was like crazy.
The show is
cool
great.
Stuff. It really is. There's like a lot of cool. The one episode I wasn't the biggest fan of was when it was basically all the flashback stuff. I was like, okay, when it got to the last 20 minutes, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. When it's all getting, but like that first like kind of 40 minutes of like. It's like showing what the envoy was and all that stuff. I was like, this is cool or whatever. But
yeah, I think
I kind of want to get back to
the envoy. Stuff. The envoy as a group kind of sort of takes a back seat at the end
agree.
Because you like. I never really understood what they were doing, what their main purpose was. Who like I guess they were just going to destroy the backup.
Basically, the stack interface. So basically, whatever everyone had. Like I think they were trying to destroy something that would render all stacks inert.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, you're in there. You're done. Once
life.
You die, you're dead. They can't take out your stack.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know exactly how they were doing it. I can't remember.
I forgot. It was like a viral, a computer type deal.
Oh yeah. They explained it very.
I just think that's interesting because like you can totally see like they're trying to like get away from playing God, but like you kind of are at the same time by turning that around. Because like what happens to that little girl who got put into an older woman's body who was 10 but is now 60,
she's screwed. Yeah.
Like and she's stuck in that stack or not by the sleeve.
Yeah.
And I was like. So the whole time I was like struggling with trying to support the envoys, but I like was on Team Kovac. Like I was just like, damn, like this is tough because like like we keep coming back to these like the morality argument where it's
right. Is
it
a good thing for humanity? Is it a bad thing for humanity? And like everything, there's like pro and con. But it's an interesting thing.
It's a very like heady show. Like
totally.
You spend a lot of time thinking about it. Like I would have to like wait a little bit between some episodes and be like. Dude, like I need to like let that.
I need to process this. Yeah.
Like sometimes when I watch like 3 in a row, and I would sit there and I'm like, dude, I have so much I'm like thinking about. While the next episode's about to start, I would like stop, like go, eat, and like I would just be like sitting there drinking coffee, like staring, thinking, like up in your head. It's cool. It really makes you think about stuff. I didn't like. I don't know.
That you wouldn't think about.
A game, a
anything
movie,
that makes you provoke thought. I think that's awesome.
Like, that's one of the things I love about TV. I watch a lot of TV, but like, I like to think that when I see a good show, I know it, and this is definitely one of them.
No.
Yeah.
I think most people would agree. It does, like you said, it's a little slow moving, but once the ball like starts rolling, you're like,
it does start rolling. Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, this is great. Like I think I watched the last 5 episodes like straight in a row because I was just like, I don't think I could stop. It was like 3 in the morning and I finished it and I was like,
I needed to get to the end. Yeah.
Worth it.
Yep.
Like,
all right, time for bed. One other thing I did like, it wasn't on point at all times, like you said, but I do think the 2 actors that played Kovacs really did like align for most of the time where I did believe that they were the same person.
Yep.
Which I think if that didn't work, there was going to be a super big problem in the show. But I keep coming back to the acting in the show. That really does drive it home in a lot of ways. Just besides the freaking setting and everything.
Yeah, it was really well done. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Testament to the writer's ability too. Like
I agree. Yeah.
Like we keep talking about how nobody was extra. Like every character meant something. Like that's a
really
crazy undertaking for like
really
a writing, the writing staff. So like the fact they were able to do that and not
keep a coherent story.
I can't think of any specific like really moment where I was like pissed. Like everything added up to me. Like
totally.
It wasn't like a character was added in just because
just to be
they
there.
Needed to provide a story. It was actually like it was almost as if they were like, okay, how can we add this character in while blowing the viewer's mind?
By making him
by making
him actually need this person, and even like I liked the whole sub-story plot with Poe and what's his name's daughter, the black. What was his name?
Lizzie.
He was awesome too.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name?
I can't remember the dad's name, but I liked him a lot. He actually, at first, I was like, who's this guy? But as he was more integrated and kind of helped out Kovacs a lot, I was like, I like him.
Yeah.
Actually, he's really...
Well, the weirdest part for me was, I don't know why they chose to do this. They brought back his wife as a guy.
That was so...
That was like, Kovac got screwed, basically. Like, he paid for... a woman of like that age or whatever, and then he was like, "This is all I could get." And it was like that dude. I thought that guy was hilarious too.
And then, and then she's like, "You cross-sleeved me," so like that's a whole imagine the whole big you're not the right changing genders and everything's a big thing today. But now imagine you could literally just
switch.
Yeah. I don't even mean that it's a big thing. Like it's a trend. It's just that's imagine that in the
there's
future.
more awareness.
Exactly. Yeah. But I just thought that was a very interesting thing, and she's like, you cross-leave me with it. Why did they take her out again? Because she was like a hacker of some sort. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she never got another sleeve, did she?
At the end she did.
That's right. She does come in. In her original body.
Mm-hmm.
But
only very briefly though.
That guy felt like he was playing a middle-aged woman. He really did. He really did.
Really
and
funny.
I thought it was funny. But is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
No,
I think we
covered all.
Basically covered everything.
Now I'm thinking about it all over again.
I know. I'm running through everything.
Like none of my thoughts are coherent right now. I'm I go on a train and then I'm like, wait, but then that happened. And I'm like,
then there's another dot. You go that way.
This guy did that, and I'm like,
there's a lot of twists. If you really like to get engaged with the show and you like this theme, you're gonna love this. So,
and I would definitely say if you're looking for just like a mindless show that you don't really have to pay attention to, probably not the show for you.
No,
but if you're like he said, for something to really be invested in.
Yeah, you got The Office and Parks and Rec.
Go for that.
That's your show. Yeah.
But if you want some cool, just noir tech stuff, this is the way to go. Any other closing thoughts for you guys?
Watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah. Watch it. That's the last of it.
In 2 words. Watch it. Yeah.
Watch it. Well, guys, thank you all for watching. If you're on Facebook, that's awesome. Thank you for watching us. You can find us on Facebook.com/the Network, YouTube.com/the Network as well, and Twitter and Instagram @Delco Nerds. For Tim, for Casey, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay nerdy.
Nerds.